Everyone. I'm Jeff Peterson here with Ukulele Corner, and I thought on this beautiful Aloha Friday, 4th of July weekend, we'd play some music together. And at Ukulele Corner, we're very excited today to announce the release of a brand new course. And we published a book on classical repertoire for ukulele in 8 grades. And I've completed lessons for all of the music in the book, and we're releasing first grades 1 through 4. And the video lessons, performances, sheet music that goes along with learning the piece, and lots of details about all the fingerings and techniques used in playing. And so that course is available, and we have a special promo code that we're offering through July 5th throughout the weekend. And it's classical, the word classical. So if you go to ukulelecorner.com, look under courses, and you'll see this new classical fingerstyle ukulele course, grades 1 through 4. And use the promo code classical, and you can sign up for the course. I had so much fun making these lessons. I'm really excited to share them with you. And so today I thought we'd have some fun. If you have a bit of time, get your ukulele out. Let's play some music. And I thought I'd go over a couple of pieces from the book. And just to warm up my fingers, so I'll start out with a piece we love here in Hawaii. It's called Hawaii Aloha. The piece, Hawaii Aloha. Aloha, everyone. Great to see so many friends that are joining in. I see Margie, Yvonne, and James from New York City. Lots of great friends here. So thanks for joining. And in the book that we published at Ukulele Corner, we have classical music that I've arranged over the past about 2 years or so that I put into doing arrangements on 8 different grades of playing levels. And it's fingerstyle ukulele. We're going to have many courses that will be available at Ukulele Corner. There'll be Hawaiian music, strumming, jazz. And so far we have a fingerstyle course and also this ukulele classical course that we've just launched. And grades 5 through 8 will be available soon as well. So fingerstyle playing, we're going to use in our right hand our fingers to play individual notes on the strings. And it's very typical with ukulele to do a lot of notes with the thumb, a lot of strumming, and a lot of melody playing with the thumb. And we do a lot of that in the music that we're going to look at. Today I thought I'd pick a few pieces that have very particular techniques that use all the fingers in the right hand in interesting ways. And the first piece is studio number one, Dionisio Aguado. He was a brilliant guitarist and educator who wrote some very important music in the 1800s. And this study uses a technique called arpeggios, where we play across the strings with our fingers. So we're going to use our thumb, index, and middle finger in the right hand to play across the strings. Now, a lot of the music in this book is for low G ukulele. We have a lot of high G material as well that's available at Ukulele Corner. But for this particular book and the course, it's for low G ukulele. So I have a tenor ukulele, Ko Aloha, that I play here, and it's got the G, C, E, A, low G tuning. We're going to start out with this technique of using our hand, our right hand, instead of having the hand down here and supporting the instrument like this, we're going to use our thumb out on the side and make a C shape with our fingers so that then we can move our fingers in and out like that. So we're going to use our thumb, index, and middle finger. There's a common tendency to play like this, and that really works really beautifully if you're playing a lot of music that has strumming. And it gives such a warm sound. I love the sound of the thumb going down and the index going up. I think it's good to know as many different techniques as you can and then combine them together and find your way of expressing your music. So by using this other technique, we're just going from this traditional way of having the hand set up and moving our hand back so that the thumb is out more in front of the index finger. We can curve all the fingers and not touching the top of the soundboard here. It's like this. So I have my forearm touching not too low down here, but it's more up by this angle where the bridge is. It's right behind the bridge here. Now I have a pretty straight line with a little bit of a tilt in my wrist. Then I can get my fingers moving really comfortably. So let me play this study for you so you can hear the idea of what it's about. So by using my fingers, instead of just strumming like this, I can get very exact strings played with the right hand. And my goal, whatever your interest is, if you play classical music, you're really going to enjoy the music in the course and in the book. If you play jazz, if you play Hawaiian music, pop music, having a nice technique with your right hand, that's the idea of this book, is developing that. So whatever pathway you go down with your music, you'll have a real solid foundation. So by getting this arpeggio technique, I'm using my thumb on the third string, index on the second, middle on the high string, back to index. See how my thumb isn't behind the finger like this, it's out in front. So if you have your ukulele out, try to grab it, and let's try to do this technique together. Now, you might notice I have this little contraption that supports the ukulele. If you have a strap, anything that can free up your hands so that you're not having to support. One reason for having the hands down here is that you can hold the instrument, right? Then you can play with your fingers, no problem. We want to have independence with our hands so that the left hand can move up and down the neck, and the right hand also has a lot of freedom. So having some sort of support, whether it's a strap, a footstool, anything like that, a guitar support that can work on ukulele, that works really well. So that's basically what I have here. It's little suction cup things that prop the ukulele up. So now it's completely supported. The easiest solution for this is getting a strap. And you can strap, there's one that hooks by the puka here, the sound hole, it hooks underneath and you put it around your neck. That works great. So with the instrument supported, my right hand can have this freedom to play with this technique. So let's try that together. See if you can get your thumb playing the third string, then index, middle, index. The strings are 3, 2, 1, and 2. Now what I want you to try to do is move your fingers back towards the back of your palm. Instead of pulling up on the notes like that, if you pull up, the strings slap against the fingerboard and it gets a brittle, kind of distorted sound. If the strings vibrate this way, you get a warmer sound. So I like to think of the pressure going into the string and then back. So I'm really moving my index finger straight back. A good way to practice this is to go all the way to the back of your hand. You could plant the other fingers down in place and then just move that. Try the same with middle finger. So I'm moving from this back knuckle here instead of pulling up or bending. If you try to move your hands with just the middle knuckle here, it'll get really tired. If you move from the back knuckle, starting with a C shape, easy. So much easier to do that. So that's what we're going to use in this piece. So let's try that together. Just get the pattern going. You could move this to different strings. The thumb is often in this piece going to play the low string. But index and middle, for this example, stay on the high strings. They could move around the other sets of strings. So you can practice that, moving the fingers to different places. Now that's going to repeat again and again with the right hand. The left hand is going to play notes of a D minor chord. It's the first finger on the first fret of the second string, second finger on the second fret of the third string, then high string open. You do that twice, then you just jump down to the next set of lower strings. That's going from a D minor, which is 3 notes, to an A chord. So the first 2 measures of this piece, I play the third string with my thumb, third string with the new chord shape, and then fourth string. So if you can just start getting that passage to be really smooth, then you're really starting to get this idea of the fingerstyle hand position. Using thumb, index, middle, and then later on we're going to add in our ring finger too. That gets used a lot. Pinky gets used sometimes, mainly for strumming. Now a lot of these etudes are a bunch of ones by Aguado, Matteo Carcassi, Fernando Sor, many other great composers that are in the book. And they usually focus on a technique that repeats a lot so that you can get very comfortable, and it just builds your repertoire of what you can do and your ability, relaxation in the hands, your tone, all these ideas that can come across. So that's the focus of this piece with the right hand, is getting that pattern. Thumb, index, middle index. So you can try those first 2 measures, try to get it flowing. These are 16th notes. You count 1 D and then 2 E, 3 E, and then 4 E. So that's 1 measure, 4 counts, right? 3, 4. Now, one thing I think of when I listen to this, you can decide which notes you bring out when you do an arpeggio like this. Let's bring out the thumb and think of that as our melody. The higher notes are soft. So I'm using a little bit more energy, a little more weight into that low note. Notice that my thumb is right about the position of where the fingerboard begins. That's a nice place for it. As you move up over the fingerboard, you're going to get a warmer sound, towards the bridge, a brighter sound. You can explore sort of the tonal range of the instrument by just moving your hand around. About 12 frets higher than any fretted note or open string is going to give you a really warm sound. It cancels out all of the overtones, so we just hear the fundamental pitch. As you move back towards the bridge, it gets brighter because you hear those overtones coming through. So with this first measure, you can practice it, use a metronome, and try to get eventually where you can play a little faster and still hear that bass line coming through. Great exercise for the right hand and for developing this technique of fingerstyle playing. Now what we do in the next couple measures, after we do that, is the first 2 measures, we're going to jump up 2 frets with the same pattern we started with, just up at the 4th and 3rd fret, and right back down, and then the second finger is going to move down, so it's going to actually travel down to the 4th string. So we get That's the first line of the music. And I know that some of you who tuned in, you have the book, so make sure this is at page 31. I should have mentioned that. And it's actually, I mentioned 4/4. You can feel it like it's 4/4, but it's really written in 2/4. 1, 2, 1, 2. So think of that as you're playing. 2 counts per measure. Measure 5, we're going to go back to our first shape, and here's where the action starts. It gets interesting here. We're going to move to just playing the second string, second fret, and play open strings. 3, 2, 1. Back. Then this really cool G minor chord. It goes 3 on the 4th string, 3 on the 2nd, and then 1 on the high string. Nothing on the 3rd string. So we're playing with our thumb on the low string. Index and middle always stay in this piece in the top 2. So try that transition. That's a big jump with the left hand, right? Notice how my 3rd finger and my pinky are preparing over the frets they're going to play. Instead of being way out here, trying to show shaka, I try to keep them in close where they just have to go straight down to the note. So for measure 5, they're right there. From that, we're just going to release our 3rd finger and keep everything in place. This will be difficult if you haven't done much of this. You need finger independence with the left hand. You might try to move your 3rd finger, but your pinky wants to take off, right? Or your index finger wants to, make a run for it. Make sure that you use just the 3rd finger, keeping the other fingers relaxed and in place. So just try that. Just hold down the shape and then release your 3rd finger a few times, just straight up and down. So you get this sound. Release here. Then I go to an F shape, find the low string in the bass, then A7 shape with the 1st fret, C sharp on the 3rd string, and then back to our original shape, and end with a downbeat of beat 2 with the thumb. So the second half of this first section. How does that feel? Let me see what you guys are saying if you're checking it out. Just so you know, if you want to get the book, it's at ukulelecorner.com. You can choose from a spiral-bound book or the regular binding. I have it as well on my website, jeffpetersonguitar.com, in the shop. It's on Amazon. You can order it on Amazon as well. But the spiral-bound version is only available at the ukulelecorner.com website. That's where this new course is, and we're going over some material. And remember, there is a discount code. You can sign up for this new course, the classical graded repertoire, grades 1 through 4. It's, I don't know how many videos. Altogether, I've done over 200 videos for the whole thing. Performance videos. Each lesson has a couple, 2 or 3 videos at least that goes with it with the sheet music. So go to the courses on the site and you can check out ukulelecorner.com. Go to courses, look up this new grades 1 through 4 classical course, and use the discount code classical and you can sign up. So let me play the first half for you again. It repeats. A shape, up 2 frets, back to the original shape. Here's where you make that G minor chord, release the 3rd finger, F shape, to an A, and then to D. And really this F shape, you can think it's like a D minor chord, just without the 3rd string. Let me just play with my thumb and listen how the melody comes through. This is a great way to practice. Look for what's featured in a piece and just play that. So it's in your ear. Keep that in your ear. Hear it? That's the melody. The melody's in the bass, which is not typical. Usually you hear a melody in the very top voice. So this is all about finger placement, as Stephanie has mentioned, and also alternating fingers in the right hand, getting this transition of what we call arpeggio technique, using thumb, index, and middle, and it works for any type of music. If I'm playing a Hawaiian tune, the same idea with my right hand. I'm using the same balance of notes with the fingers. And you can mix this in with strumming and this technique, using your thumb alone. All the techniques start to intersect in really beautiful ways. There's a question about the suction cup. So I use this homemade thing using duct tape and everything. I'm hoping to make some that I can offer at some point. But it's based on a guitar support that I've used. I play a lot of guitar. And so they have these things that are called instrument supports. And the suction cups just stick to the side of the instrument so that it holds it up in place like this. And I think there's one that's called the neck up that might work on the ukulele. You just have to make sure if the body of your ukulele is too thin, the suction cup's going to be too big and it'll fall off. So the main reason for that, a strap works just fine. You just want to support the instrument so that it feels steady. Then your hands are free to move when you play. So if you're learning to study like this, I'm kind of blazing through it, right? I would recommend blocking out left hand. What are these chord shapes? Play them without the arpeggio. Just try to figure out where your fingers are going. Walk through the left hand alone. It's a beautiful connection of harmony, right? This big one here, this big jump, getting comfortable with that. Releasing just the third finger, F shape, A7, D minor. Work on the right hand, just on open strings. You can do that just as a daily warm-up as you're practicing, right? Get your hand going. When you can do this, you're going to use it all the time. Practice accenting. I'll play louder with my thumb. How about index finger? How about middle? You can bring out very different elements of the music you play by which finger is being featured and what decisions you make of where the melody is. What if I played this piece and brought out the high string? It would sound pretty terrible, actually, because we'd be hearing this note over and over again. If you've ever seen the movie Psycho, it's kind of like that. I think the melody's in the bass. That's where the interesting motion is. Right? Much more interesting to hear that than just hearing this drone of a high string. So it's very important how you balance your right hand and which notes are brought out. That's something we can have a lot of control with when we play with this fingerstyle technique. Each finger has the ability to play louder or softer. Aloha, Chris Miller, a dear friend of mine, is just joining in. It's great to see so many friends joining. We're going to start doing a lot more live sessions and things at Ukulele Corner. We're going to start a membership site soon, and I'm having fun. I've developed a lot of the music already for the Hawaiian course. I'm really excited to start filming that. It's nice to be home. You know, I'm not touring now, right? Like everyone, I'm home. I think we should all stay home this 4th of July and just kanekapila on the ukulele. Let's not go to any barbecues. There's some crazy spikes in coronavirus. And so I think it's best. This is a great opportunity for us to improve our music, right? Have some fun playing music. So if you go to, another thing you can find at ukulelecorner.com is there are free pieces that you can get. And I have some free lessons there. There are 3 pieces, Hawaii Aloha. I did a version of that when we started out. I believe I did that in the key of F. There's a transcription for that. House of the Rising Sun, and the music for this Aguado study. You can find the sheet music there. But for the full lessons, you want to sign up for the course, and then we can get lots of interaction, and I can keep working with you that way. Let's look at the second half. There's a lot more motion harmonically in the second half. We start the same way, just like the beginning, that D minor chord, but now we're going to go G7, or C7, with the 3rd finger playing the lowest strings, just like we did that G minor chord, but without the pinky there. 3, 0, 0, 1. So I'll play that 3rd string in the bass, and then 4th string, 3rd fret in the bass. F chord, 3rd string in the bass, 4th string in the bass, back to that C7. Usually you think of C7 just like this, right? But we can add in this note. You hear a difference in tone with the low G tune. It would be the same pitch with the re-entrant tone. Measure 9, measure 10. So now our melody is. And when you do this, a very important thing about fingerstyle playing that's great, because we're not just strumming chords like we usually do. one note at a time. Often with arpeggiation, we're never playing a chord in this piece. We let the notes ring together to make chords, but we're playing one at a time. So you can place fingers down as needed. Notice I don't use my third finger until later on, right before I need to play that note. I'm playing C7. I know the third finger is going to play, but I haven't put it down until the moment I need it. If I'm going to play an F chord, I don't just go right to this shape. I play my first finger, that's what's needed first, and then I put down my second finger. So we're going to place our fingers down as needed. It takes out tension in the left hand and it connects things together very smoothly. The last line, you play that F with just the F on the second string, first fret. Then right below that, you're going to play a C sharp and add in the third fret of the second string. Go back to our original chord, bass, second fret of the lower string. Then, like the C7 shape, bass on the sixth string open, or fourth string. Then this last chord, before we get to D minor, is 2 and A on the fourth string, second fret, and a 3, it's a G on the second string, third fret. The strings you play are 4, 2, 1, 2. This is part of an A7 chord. Here's A, A7 like this. There's another A7 where we put down our third finger. So if you're going to do a vamp, a Hawaiian vamp, right in the key of G, that would work great. In this case, we're just playing those notes without the first finger because we're not playing that string. Back to D minor. So let me play this is the second half of the piece now. Every time we come to the end, taper down the dynamics a little bit. Less reached. And you can even pause a little bit for that last note. Yvonne is asking if you'll be able to see this live session later on. Just go to the Ukulele Corner Facebook page. You can hit us up over there anytime, and this will be posted there. Likely we'll post it as well at Ukulele Corner. We have a video archive there as well. So yeah, there'll be lots of resources. We're just getting started too, having a lot of fun building up the courses and lessons. So lots of ideas and things that are going to be coming together. Let's try to play the second half together. And so think about finger placement, bringing out the melody with your thumb, the arpeggio pattern we're doing, right hand position, right? We're trying to get our fingers back here. That's going to be the first step in learning this, is getting your right hand steady. Thumbs up like this, and I call it banana thumb. See how my thumb is bent? It's not like this. We're not playing with a tip joint here. Circular motion with the thumb. It's okay if it runs into the index finger, but it's not. We're not moving the tip joint very much. Later on, you can start to do that when you get control. You can actually accent notes with that. I do that sometimes. I do a little bit of a tip joint motion, but in general, sweeping from the back knuckle with the thumb. Okay, measure 9 in the piece. Ready? Let's try it. Nice and slow. Here's the C7. F shape. Second finger goes down. Now. Third finger goes down. Now. F shape. This is the A7 shape to D minor. Then C7, so do I give it? A7, D minor. You could call this, I don't want to get too technical with theory, but this is actually E half diminished. Who would have thought, right? Because we're in the key of D, it's the 2 chord of the key of D going to the 5 chord. 1, 2, 5, 1. You ever heard Brazilian music? That E half diminished. So it's not, I call it a C7, but actually it's just because we're not playing all the strings. It looks like a C7 chord. So anyway, keep that in mind. To make it that half diminished, all you do is like an F chord, move towards the floor. First fret, high string, B flat, D on the third string, second fret. Get a little Brazilian groove going. Now, what I'm doing there is a block chord. I'm using thumb, index, middle, and ring. Can everyone try to do that? Play all 4 strings. see how I'm making a fist like this, and I'm not starting here, I'm starting very curved, and I just move my fingers in like that. Now watch, I'll separate the thumb from the chord. That's a Brazilian rhythm. 2, 3, and 4. There's this big drum in Brazil they call sordu. I toured there with Kyola Beamer and Wanalani Beamer for a whole month. We went all over the country with the State Department and had jam sessions. There's a group called Olodum. They did a collaboration with Michael Jackson, and they had big cutouts of Michael Jackson in the ancient cobblestone streets by this big church. And I thought it was so bizarre. But it's awesome. Michael Jackson is represented in Salvador, in the central area of Brazil. But the group there is called Olodum. They also recorded with Paul Simon on Rhythm of the Saints, that great album he collaborated with Brazilian musicians. But the sordu is this big bass drum. Oof, oof, you hit that in the samba music. Think of your thumb like the sordu. It's just hitting these downbeats steadily while there's syncopation with a block chord. A, D minor. I'm just sticking to the low string of the bass. That could move to other places. Definitely could move to the third string up here. So the idea is that with fingerstyle, we're learning to use this arpeggio technique, but block chords are also really a great thing that you can play. Then you can have a nice separation between the thumb and the rest of the hand. So Anita is asking how the course is designed. So the course is set up where there's a performance of each piece that's in the book. There are about 65 or so pieces. The first half of the book is going to be about 30 or 35 or so, grades 1 through 4. They're in order of difficulty, more or less, as you progress through the book. And they're video lessons. So each piece in the book will have a lesson on certain techniques that are used, harmony, going measure by measure, which fingers you use in both hands, then phrasing. So they're all video lessons, but then you can always get in touch with me. I'm available to answer questions. And as we get things going more, we're going to have live sessions, and we're going to have membership to the course. So then we'll have often live sessions where we can have, you know, whether it's Zoom or like this, we can have some one-on-one interaction that way as well. So I hope that helps. That's the idea. And I'm also developing with Simon Powis, who's a brilliant educator, a fantastic guitar player, and he has his doctorate degree from Yale. He studied with Ben Verdery, who is just the most amazing person and inspiration to so many. He's doing a festival right now, actually, usually on Hawaii Island, but now he's in New York doing it online. But Simon has developed some really brilliant practice routines. And so I'm actually getting those organized. I'm going to start filming those soon. And so not only will you be learning these pieces, there's a whole set of very structured things to work on to develop your playing technique, your understanding of the fingerboard, where the notes are, where the chords are, and then a lot on different ideas in interpreting music, technique, and relaxing the hands. And the whole time we're just trying to have fun too. So that's the main thing to keep in mind, that this is just, it's enriching our lives by learning music. I think it's a really beautiful thing to work on. So Stephanie's asking, should you learn the chords? And for her, it's easier to learn songs. I do that often. And I definitely do it more with Hawaiian music and jazz than in classical, but it is very important in classical too. Sometimes harmony in a lot of classical music. Let me play another piece. I was going to show you this piece by Bach, and it led to the Arioso. It's a Largo, BWV, which they used is a German name for like Bach's catalog of his music, 10-5-6. So listen to this piece. Instead of thinking chords here, I'm not holding chords down. I'm just playing a bass line, and I'm playing a melody. there are two independent voices, and that's something that Fingerstyle is going to let us do. So listen to how this piece works out. You're just going to hear, first I'll play the bass line, which is this beautiful, like a lazy sordu, we could call it. Sordu on its day off. We're just playing steady quarter notes with the thumb, but the melody's doing this. I'm not thinking chords. I could think D minor, F. There's a way you could think of this. C, but it's more linear. This is A minor, but it's just a skeleton of A minor. This is a bass line and a melody. So it depends, really, the music you're playing. What I would think of here, I would think of what is a melodic line and what is a bass line. That's how I'd learn the piece. You could think, well, this is G, C, D, G. You could think harmony, but it's, I think, a lot easier, and conceptually it makes more sense to think of descending bass line. It's just walking down the scale with stepwise motion. That's how I'd remember this. I think up to the second fret, D, up a fourth, G. This is a 2, 5, 1. You can think of harmony with it. So the kind of a long answer, Stephanie, but basically it depends on what you're playing. If I was going to be learning a Hawaiian song, Ukulele, harmony, I'd be thinking C, G, D7, G. I'll do a vamp, A7, D, G. This music is very clear and just the idea of the way that Hawaiian music is thought of. Often thinking of harmonic progressions is what gets you through the song. Then I can do my own variations, and it's more likely in a Hawaiian song that you do a variation more so than a classical piece, which is usually pretty well written out. Vamp. I'm thinking a song form. I'm at the vamp. I might even think, okay, pa'ani, which means a solo. But I'm still thinking the chords. G, B7, E minor, C, G, D7, G, A7, D7, G. So I think it's really important to know both, so that some pieces are going to be basically muscle memory, and a lot of classical pieces of that. Your fingers, like you could close your eyes. I know when I'm working on a piece that I have it memorized, if I don't have the ukulele and I can just imagine my fingers, particularly left hand, going through the whole piece. I can just imagine every placement all the way through. Then I know, sometimes I'll be doing that and there's like, oh, there's a total moment of total blank spot there. So then I know that's what I need to go and work on for memorization. Oh, great. Stephanie was just playing Pu'alili Lehua. That's something we'll definitely go over in the Hawaiian course. We're going to look at a lot of the traditional repertoire. I've been writing. I've been coming up with slack key music as well that we're going to play. We're going to do a little bit of tuning changes here and there. Have some fun with that as well. So once again, if you're just tuning in, we have a new course that we're offering at Ukulele Corner, and it is the graded repertoire for the solo classical ukulele. And we have this course, grades 1 through 4, just launched. And there is a promo code. If you go to ukulelecorner.com, go to the courses. There's a tab up on top in the menu. And if you're interested in the course, $50 off the price of the course using the promo code CLASSICAL through the 5th, July 5th. I think it's midnight, maybe East Coast time. It's a one-time fee for this course, and you get unlimited access to it and all of the sheet music. Stefan had asked that, and it's $97 is the discounted price. And as I mentioned, I'm not sure how long it'll be, but soon, in a month or two, we're going to launch a membership. So you have access to everything for a monthly membership fee. So we're still working that out, but we have all this material and we wanted to offer it. So you can get started with the courses and with the book. Yeah, so I hope that's helpful. And let's go back to this Aguado piece, and let's try to play it together one more time and see how your arpeggio technique is doing. Oh, Stefan tried to submit the coupon classical, but it came back as invalid. Try all capitals. Maybe it needs to be all caps. And if Simon Powis, if you're there, maybe you can chime in about that and help us out. Simon does all the web design for the site. So yeah, try it again with all classical. Steve Craig said it worked for him. So he did it. I think it needs to be all caps. Should have mentioned that, sorry. Okay, so let's play this Dionisio Aguado study. If you haven't heard him, last name Aguado. Go on YouTube, go wherever you can go and find some music. Check out his incredible guitar music from the 19th century. Just sublime, beautiful, powerful music. And he was one of the first, kind of like Auntie Alice Namakelua with Kiho Alua and hula in Hawaii and language. She was one of the first to open up outside of just her family and share knowledge. And so Aguado was part of a number of great guitar players who came up with these really incredible study programs for learning the instrument, and then full-on classical, virtuosic concert music as well. So Fernando Sor, Mauro Giuliani, Napoleon Cost, Matteo Carcassi. We look at a lot of these composers' music in the book. There were a number of composers who wrote brilliant music for classical guitar, and I've been having fun taking that music and applying the concepts of it to ukulele. That's been one of my goals. So let's give this a studio number one a try. We're going to play it super slow. Okay, so get your fingers ready for that. Remember that D minor. And let's see, what brand of strings am I using? I use Diodario strings. I love their strings. And I'm using the low G set with the long G. I even use classical guitar Pro Arte. And I use the classical guitar strings for the top strings. When I need high G, I just use an extra high string. So I buy plenty sets and just use all the high strings. And I use the bass strings on my guitar. So, and the good thing is these strings last forever. I think actually on this instrument, I have normal tension classical guitar strings for the top three strings. But then I have the ukulele. I like the feel of the fourth string from the ukulele set. So as you can see, I'm completely confused. I use different types of strings and mix them all up. I've tried everything, and that's the tone. I like the fat strings because there's more sustain and there's more warmth in the tone. So I found that actually using the Diodario guitar strings, I get a little bit more tone. I think someone's asking if of the two courses, there's a beginning fingerstyle introduction course, and then there's the classical course. I think the promo code only works on the classical course at the moment. But once again, I have to have Simon jump in on that one. Oh yeah, so it looks like it has to be the classical course, and that's where the promo code will work. Okay, anyway, let's get to playing the music. So the Aguado study, 1, 2. Get ready to jump up with the shape of 1 and 2. Then back down. Listen for the connection of the notes. Everything is ringing together. Repeat. Let's play the second time soft. I'm moving my hand up over the fingerboard a little bit. So you can get some left hand vibrato in there. Really bring out those bass notes. Let's do a crescendo here. About 3/4 of the way through, we're going to peak. The right as we get to the G minor, peaking here, I'm getting brighter. Now a decrescendo, we're going to end tosto, sweet, over the sound chord. Here, let's start a little brighter. Second half, crescendo. Start softer here. Build. More. Most. Then decrescendo. Now the opposite how we started, we're going to repeat and start warm. And do one long gradual rise. A little more. A little more. Peaking here. A little dramatic. Then coming down. The last time I slowed down a bit again as well. So, like a lot of these studies, they can be done nice and slow and they still sound great. Or the goal of this is just to be able to play it faster and faster. If you listen to some music that Aguado wrote, it's just ripping. So, right? So you can play this, work on your tempo. The second half. It could be played, you know, at different, various tempos, and it sounds really good. So the goal is to try to be able to do that without losing it and not losing control of your technique as you play faster. So keeping a journal of what you're doing when you're practicing. If you're using a metronome, where is it comfortable? And then when does it just start to feel like, it's a little too much, your hands are tensing up, you're losing the feel of the music. I think musical expression is more important than speed, right? So you want to try to always maintain nice, relaxed hands. And playing faster doesn't mean using more strength. It actually means to relax and still have musicality coming out as you play it faster. So anyway, I hope all of you enjoyed spending some time together and playing some music. How about, Stephanie mentioned that she was playing Ukulele. Let's just strum along, and I'll play an instrumental version of that. And let's end with playing a nice Hawaiian song. So you can use your fingerstyle technique if you wanted. This piece is really good. Just doing an ascending arpeggio, thumb, index, middle ring, or some sort of flowing sense of arpeggios, just across the strings. Just keeping eighth notes going, right? So it's 1 and 2. We're going to play in the key of G. We're going to go G, D7, G, G7, C, G, D7. You can hold D7 like this, like however you want to hold it. G to B7, to E minor, to C. So B7, 4, 3, 2, and open high string. You could do a bar there or leave it open. E minor, 3 or 4, 3 and 2 right above that. And I like to cover the low string too, right? Or just strum 3 strings. Then G, D7, G. We're going to do a typical vamp, which is A7, D7, C, and then here comes the melody. G, D7, G, C, G, D7, G to B7, E minor, C, G, D7. Here comes the vamp. G, D7, G, G7 pulls the C, back to G, then D7, G, B7, E minor, C, G, D7. For any vamp, C, G, D7, G, then our final vamp, A7, G, D, G. Great ending, right, is that you do the walk up, open third string and high string, first fret, then the second fret. You can use your first fingers and second if you want to do that as well. All right, well, thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful 4th of July weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy. And remember, Ukulele Corner, we're offering this brand new course, and so check it out. And use the promo code, all caps, classical, to get the classical ukulele course, grades 1 through 4. It's just been released. I'm very excited to have it out there, and great spending time with all of you. So, ahui ho, take care, and see you soon. Mahalo.